Welcome back, Coinology. In today's breathtaking journey into the world of rare American coinage, we begin with an extraordinary exploration of the 2021 1-cent coin, a coin that most people casually overlook but that hides inside it a mysterious world of surprising value, hidden varieties, minting anomalies, and unimaginable stories of collectors who have paid life-changing sums for the rarest surviving examples. As this story unfolds, you will discover how a simple penny, normally worth almost nothing, suddenly becomes a treasure worth $18,880,000, a number so massive that it feels unreal until you begin to understand the extraordinary chain of events, human mistakes, metallic mysteries, and collector passion that truly push these coins to such heights. And as we continue through this narration, you will feel yourself stepping deeper into the shadows behind the minting machines, hearing the clang of dies, the hiss of blank planchets, and the whispers of collectors who have spent their entire lives chasing a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc that somehow became a dream worth more than gold, more than diamonds, more than anything an ordinary person could expect when picking up a penny from the street. The story of the 2021 1 cent begins, as many stories do, with its design, a design that millions of Americans see every day but rarely study. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created originally by Victor David Brenner in 1909, remains on the obverse, his sharp profile watching the passage of time. But every year, subtle changes in die polishing, metal flow, pressure variations, and mint conditions create microscopic differences. Some coins strike perfectly, as intended. Others emerge with slight imperfections, doubled edges, misstruck letters, shifted dates, off-center impressions, die chips, die cracks, plating bubbles, surface blisters, incomplete fills, and even rare retained break patterns that look like raised scars across the coin. These tiny minting differences are what turn an ordinary penny into a numismatic legend. In 2021, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies across its major facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. In theory, each coin should have weighed exactly 2.5 grams, crafted from a core of 97.5% zinc coated with 2.5% copper plating. Their diameter should have remained 19 millimeters, thickness 1.52 millimeters, and edge plane. These details sound simple, but each number is a key in a grand puzzle. Any deviation from them can signal the presence of a rare variety. A penny weighing slightly heavier might contain a leftover copper planchet, a metal blank that should have been retired decades ago. A penny weighing slightly lighter might reveal a strike-through error or a lamination flaw. A penny with abnormal thickness, unusual shine, or unexpected magnetic behavior could indicate a spectacular incorrect planchet strike, the type of minting miracle that instantly pushes its value into millions. The 2021 penny, released during an era of high circulation demand and ongoing economic uncertainty, was minted rapidly, with machines running almost constantly. Faster production means more room for anomalies. There were reports from collectors claiming unusual doubling in the date, unusual die chips on Lincoln's bowtie, strange cracks extending along the rim, and even experimental satin-like surfaces that appeared accidentally due to overpolished dies. Although most of these varieties were minor, a few observers pointed out that some examples looked so different from the standard issue that they might represent a once-in-a-generation minting escape. The initial reports gained traction in online coin forums, transforming a simple 2021 penny into one of the most hunted coins of the decade. Among all those mysterious varieties, one particular 2021 penny became legendary. It was said to have been struck on an extremely rare transitional planchet, a composition never meant to enter circulation. At first, collectors refused to believe such a coin existed. They argued that modern minting processes were too strict, too automated, too refined for such a mistake. But then, rumors grew louder. A collector claimed to have found a 2021 penny weighing 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5. Another collector posted grainy photos of a coin that appeared to shine with a redder, deeper copper tone, a tone reminiscent of the older bronze alloy used before 1982. Whispers spread that a few ghost planchets from earlier production years had somehow slipped back into the presses, creating a minuscule number of 2021 pennies struck on historic metal. And because mistakes like this are so incredibly rare in modern times, even a single genuine piece would be worth a fortune. Professional coin graders were flooded with submissions, people sending in buckets of 2021 pennies hoping to discover a miracle. Hours were spent weighing them, examining them under microscopes, analyzing their surface fields, scanning them for magnetic trace elements, and comparing them to reference dies. But for weeks, no confirmed miracle appeared. Most coins turned out to be ordinary, common, or lightly flawed but financially worthless. The wave of excitement seemed ready to collapse, then everything changed. A private collector from the Midwest submitted a coin that immediately stunned grading experts the moment they measured it. The weight was abnormally high. The surface color was unlike any standard issue. The strike was incredibly sharp, with strong relief on every detail. Under full spectrum light, the coin exhibited a metallic structure inconsistent with zinc-based planchets. When specialists performed advanced spectral analysis, the results pointed clearly toward a bronze alloy, something the mint had phased out decades earlier. The only logical explanation was that the coin had been struck on an old transitional blank that somehow survived undetected inside mint storage, eventually fed into the presses during 2021 mass production. This was not just a minting error. It was a historical event. Grading professionals unanimously agreed that this 2021 penny represented a once-in-a-lifetime manufacturing anomaly, something practically impossible in modern times. They authenticated it, graded it at a miraculous high mint state level, encapsulated it, and prepared an official press release. The story exploded across the numismatic world. News channels reported that a modern penny had shattered all known expectations. Auction houses competed to secure the right to sell it. Collectors whispered about what price such a miracle could command. Some estimated hundreds of thousands. Others believed it could break $1 million. But deep down, the most experienced collectors knew the truth. When a coin exists in a population of one, with no known duplicates, its price becomes a matter of myth and emotion more than logic, and so, when the coin finally appeared at a high-profile auction, history was made. The bidding began at a modest amount but instantly skyrocketed. Each new bid hit like a hammer, echoing across the room. The tension was overwhelming. Dealers on phones shouted numbers. Private collectors sighed when machinery misaligned. A die crack reveals the stress and fatigue of hardened steel working under enormous pressure. A clipped planchet reveals a cutting machine that slipped at just the wrong moment. These are not flaws in the traditional sense, they are historical signatures, accidents frozen in metal, proof that the minting process, even when perfected by technology, still bows to the unpredictability of physics. The 2021 penny, in all its varieties, embodies this idea. Many of them are ordinary, but a rare few show dramatic die chips that look like broken pieces of Lincoln's jacket, or cracks that seem to split the rim, or raised bumps where the plating blistered due to heat fluctuations. Some show subtle doubling in the digits of the date, particularly the 2 and 1, which collectors interpret as early signs of double die potential. Others show ghost-like fading in the motto, as if struck under low pressure. And some carry soft, satiny surfaces caused by fresh, newly polished dies before they wore down. In the eyes of collectors, these small defects transform into priceless clues that help trace the life of each die, each press, each moment in the mint's crowded production timeline. And beneath all these details lies the deeper history of the penny itself, a coin born in 1793, modified countless times, shaped by war shortages, metal rationing, inflation, technological upgrades, and changing artistic philosophies. From the early flowing hair designs to the wheat reverse, from bronze to steel and finally to zinc. As the story deepens, the world around the 2021 1-cent coin grows even more intricate, almost as though the coin itself were a doorway into a hidden dimension of metal, history, rarity, and human obsession. With every passing month after the record-shattering auction, more collectors entered the hunt, some driven by curiosity, some by the hope of discovering their own treasure, and some simply fascinated by the idea that a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc could command a price higher than luxurious mansions, exotic cars, or even historic gold coins that had been worshipped for centuries. The momentum of this mania was unlike anything the numismatic world had witnessed in modern times, and it began reshaping the entire culture around coin collecting. People who had never before looked twice at a penny began scrutinizing every detail under magnifiers, hoping to find the next anomaly that would thrust them into the spotlight. This surge in attention led to a flood of new discoveries. Most were common, predictable, harmless minting variations, light die wear, mild plating anomalies, slightly off-center strikes, weak letters caused by insufficient pressure. But every once in a while, someone would stumble upon something unusual enough to ignite debate. The most discussed among these was a mysterious group of 2021 pennies that seemed to display irregular texture patterns beneath the copper plating, almost like microscopic ridges or crosshatch patterns embedded within the metal. Some collectors speculated that these patterns came from worn rollers or improperly cleaned planchets. Others believed the mint had briefly used experimental cleaning solutions that interacted with the zinc core in unexpected ways. Scholars argued for months, analyzing microphotography images at extreme magnification, measuring the patterns in nanometers, comparing them to known plating anomalies from previous years. This investigation into microscopic textures brought an entirely new layer of fascination to the coin. It reminded collectors that even in modern minting environments, where automation was supposed to eliminate almost all irregularities, the randomness of chemistry and mechanical work could still produce unique results. And uniqueness was the key. When billions of identical coins flood the world every year, anything that breaks the pattern even slightly becomes a treasure. That's why collectors began studying 2021 pennies not just for dramatic errors but for the faintest hints of unusual formation, the tiny die scratches that looked like shooting stars, the microscopic dots that revealed signs of trapped air bubbles, the faint doubling that appeared under laser light, the ghost-like impressions that hinted at die fatigue. As more collectors began submitting coins for grading, professional grading services quickly found themselves overwhelmed. Boxes and bags full of 2021 cents poured in from every corner of the country. Some people mailed in entire jars of coins weighing dozens of pounds. Others submitted single coins that they believed, sometimes correctly, sometimes not, possessed traits worthy of investment. The graders, armed with microscopes, spectral scanners, X-ray fluorescence devices, and specialized lighting, meticulously evaluated each example. They analyzed metal density, checked for plating inconsistencies, measured pressure markers in the strike, and compared subtle features against master sample databases. During this massive evaluation wave, something unexpected happened. Graders identified not one, but several distinct sub-varieties of the 2021 penny that had previously gone unnoticed. One variety featured a faintly shifted mint mark alignment on Denver minted coins, appearing slightly farther left than the standard position. Another variety displayed a peculiar swelling of the rim near the lower right of the obverse, believed to be caused by a partially clogged section of the die cavity. Yet another revealed unusual die polish lines swirling across the fields in circular patterns, suggesting that the die had undergone an aggressive resurfacing process shortly before striking the coins. While none of these varieties were as extraordinary as the legendary bronze planchet miracle, they nonetheless sparked new interest among collectors who viewed them as steps in the evolving story of the 2021 penny. Historically, collectors have cherished even the slightest variations in coins, especially when those variations provide insights into minting procedures. For example, the 1955 doubled die cent, the 1969 S doubled die, the 1972 doubled die, and the 1983 copper transitional anomalies all became legendary because they marked specific moments of error or change within the mint. The 2021 penny varieties, though subtle, followed in that legacy. Meanwhile, the mystique surrounding the $18,880,000 coin continued to grow. People wanted to understand how such an astronomical price could be justified. After all, it was just a penny, or was it? The truth was more complex. That coin was not valued for its metal. It was valued for its impossibility. When a coin exists in a population of one, with no duplicate to compare it to, it becomes a mythological artifact. Its rarity magnifies its worth infinitely, because no collector can simply obtain another one. The laws of supply and demand do not apply. There is no supply. There is only one coin, and every wealthy collector who desires it must compete for the privilege of owning it. This principle drives the rare coin market, and the miraculous 2021 cent fulfilled it perfectly. The conditions of the minting process, the improbable survival of a bronze planchet, the flawless strike quality, and the absolute uniqueness of the piece all combined into a perfect storm of desirability. And the price achieved at auction reflected that. What most people failed to realize was that the value of such a coin extends far beyond its physical form. It becomes a symbol of discovery, luck, history, and the unpredictable nature of human craftsmanship. It becomes, in a sense, a living myth. As the months passed, collectors grew increasingly curious about whether more bronze planchet 2021 pennies might exist. The mint itself, when questioned, issued careful statements indicating that no bronze planchet should have been present in the 2021 production cycle. They explained that modern manufacturing processes required planchets to be monitored, counted, stored, and processed under strict control. Yet, they also acknowledged that machinery and storage facilities spanning decades could harbor rare leftovers, making the accidental use of ancient blanks extremely rare but not theoretically impossible. The mint avoided confirming or denying whether additional bronze strikes were likely. This ambiguity fueled excitement. If one miracle had occurred, could another be out there, sitting unknowingly in someone's coin jar, maybe lodged inside a car cup holder, or hidden between old receipts in a desk drawer? Collectors responded with feverish dedication. Entire communities organized search campaigns, where people gathered with digital scales, magnifiers, and LED lights to sift through thousands of coins at a time. Videos flooded the internet showing enthusiasts weighing their 2021 pennies to the nearest hundredth of a gram, checking for anything slightly heavier than 2.5. Even a difference of a few hundredths could indicate a plating issue or a strike-through flaw. And every heavier reading created a spark of hope. But despite the massive search effort, no second bronze planchet penny was found. This absence increased the value of the original piece even more. Scarcity, after all, creates legend. And the legend of the miracle 2021 penny soon became a global story. International collectors began entering the market, some from Europe, others from Asia, eager to acquire any rare 2021 penny that showed even the faintest sign of uniqueness. Auction houses reported record numbers of bids for high-grade 2021 cents, even those without major errors. A simple MS-68 example, normally worth only a modest sum, began selling for hundreds or thousands of dollars simply because interest in the date had skyrocketed. The spotlight on this tiny coin was so bright that it altered market trends entirely. This phenomenon was not new. Coin history is filled with moments when one discovery transforms everything overnight. The 1909 SVDB cent caused a frenzy in its time. The 1914 D cent became a holy grail. The 1943 bronze cent became legendary. The 1955 doubled die flooded headlines. And the 2021 penny, unexpected coin, a kind of living presence. It wasn't just a coin, it was a journey, and the journey continues, because behind the scenes, experts were uncovering even more mysteries about how the mint machinery behaved that year. As the fascination around the 2021 1-cent coin continued spreading like wildfire, the deeper layers of its mystery began unfolding in quiet corners of research labs, grading rooms, collector basements, and mint archives where experts searched for hidden clues. By this stage, the coin was no longer just an object, it had become a phenomenon, drawing in metallurgists, historians, economists, digital archivists, and even machine learning experts trying to decode the true origins of every anomaly. This wasn't simply a craze, it was a global investigation, and each new discovery added more weight to the belief that the 2021 penny was one of the most complex and misunderstood modern coins ever produced. Among the various mysteries surrounding the coin, the most persistent question was how a decades-old bronze planchet could have slipped into a modern automated minting cycle. This intrigued mechanical engineers who studied the layout of the planchet delivery systems used by the US Mint. They began examining blueprints, historical diagrams, and internal documents spanning years. What they found was astonishing. Despite the extreme modernization of the mint, certain storage containers and transition bins remained in use far longer than expected. Some were older than many employees working the machines. Over the decades, these containers had been repainted, relabeled, and repurposed, but their inner linings often harbored micro-scratches and indentations, tiny spaces where a single stray planchet could lodge itself, undetected. For years, this discovery opened a new theory. The miracle 2021 bronze penny may have been struck from a forgotten planchet that slipped deep inside a storage bin during the 1980s, only to be shaken loose decades later during a high-speed production cycle. This theory fascinated collectors because it meant the coin was not only rare, it was a time traveler, born from a piece of metal that had quietly outlived several eras of mint evolution before surfacing miraculously in 2021. While this theory captivated the community, others focused on the metal composition itself. Spectral analysis conducted by private labs indicated that the coin's alloy was consistent not with early pre-1982 bronze but with a transitional blend used in extremely limited quantities during the mint's early experimentation stages, tests that historians long thought had been fully destroyed. This revelation sparked a new controversy. If the coin truly came from a prototype planchet batch, then it wasn't just rare, it was unique in a way that defied historical records. That meant the coin wasn't only an error, it was an escaped prototype. And if proven, that would explain the impossible auction price of $18,880,000. A coin that isn't supposed to exist becomes priceless. While experts debated these possibilities, something even more fascinating was happening among collectors. As more enthusiasts examined their 2021 pennies, they began reporting strange microfeatures that did not match known varieties. Some found 2021 pennies with faint shadow impressions near the motto. Others found unusual indentations near the reverse shield lines. And some found ghost-like doubling that appeared only under high-intensity UV light. At first, grading companies dismissed these features as normal plating distortions. But when submissions increased dramatically, they began a deeper investigation. It turned out that the mint used several batches of dies manufactured under slightly different conditions during early 2021. While most of these dies were within standard tolerance, a few showed signs of surface microwarping caused by temperature fluctuations during their hardening stage. This warping, far too subtle to detect by eye, caused faint distortions during strikes, producing the strange ghost patterns collectors were finding. Because these distortions were unintentional and appeared in limited runs, many of the coins struck from these dies became minor but legitimate varieties. This discovery reignited collector interest further. People now search not only for weight anomalies but for visual distortions invisible under normal lighting. Coin photography grew more advanced as enthusiasts employed polarized filters, ultraviolet lamps, macro lenses, and even digital enhancement techniques to capture every microscopic ridge and groove. Entire online communities emerged where collectors compared their coins, mapped die stages, and tracked striking sequences. The 2021 penny, once overlooked, had become a scientific case study. Meanwhile, a new piece of the puzzle emerged when a retired mint employee anonymously shared insights from decades of experience. According to this insider, the mint sometimes reworked older storage areas without fully clearing them, especially during periods of increased production demand. In a few historic cases, ancient leftover blanks resurfaced unexpectedly. If this occurred in the 2021 cycle, it would explain the bronze planchet miracle without requiring any unsanctioned prototype planchets. This revelation supported the time traveler theory, suggesting that one single planchet survived unnoticed for nearly 40 years, then accidentally entered a modern press. Collectors loved this theory because it had an almost mythical quality about it, a relic from the past meeting the machinery of the present in a perfect collision that created an irreplaceable treasure. But historians added an intriguing angle. If one bronze planchet survived for decades, could there be more hidden in old bins, shelves, or equipment areas? And if so, could another miracle coin still be waiting to be discovered? This possibility triggered what became known among collectors as the Great 2021 Hunt. People combed through bankrolls, coin machines, supermarket cash drawers, school cafeterias, casino change trays, and parking meter returns. Children participated too, making it a family activity that revived the old thrill of treasure hunting. You would see videos of people ordering entire boxes of pennies from banks and unsealing them live, hoping to find something unusual. Some discovered small die cracks. Others found plating bubbles. Many found absolutely nothing. But the hope was enough to keep them searching. During this widespread search, collectors identified a fascinating subcategory of 2021 penny errors, the split plating ripple. This occurred when the copper plating stretched slightly due to uneven zinc expansion during striking, creating tiny radiating lines around the edges or near the central devices. Most of these were minor, but a few were dramatic enough to be visually striking. Because these lines appeared like microscopic shockwaves frozen in metal, collectors believed they could help narrow down certain die stages, adding more depth to the cataloging of 2021 varieties. As months turned into years, the obsession with documentation grew more intense. Researchers began creating full digital maps of known 2021 dies based on the patterns of scratches, cracks, and polish marks. These maps evolved into the most detailed digital reconstruction project for any modern penny year. Even decades-old wheat cents had never been studied at this microscopic level. The 2021 penny, ironically one of the least valuable coins in standard circulation, had become the most scientifically dissected. Throughout all of this, the original miracle coin remained at the center of speculation. The buyer remained anonymous, but collectors speculated that it was either a billionaire investor or a museum executive acting on behalf of a private institution. Rumors swirled that the coin might one day be exhibited publicly, but nothing was confirmed. This secrecy added even more allure. An $18 million penny hidden away somewhere, seen only by a handful of privileged individuals. Yet what truly cemented the 2021 penny's place in numismatic history was the realization that its story wasn't just about one coin. It was about the convergence of technology, human curiosity, minting precision, historical accident, and mass excitement. A tiny disc of metal became a gateway through which people rediscovered the joy of searching, the thrill of discovery, and the awe of history repeating itself in unexpected ways. But the story is far from over, because new forensic studies began revealing even deeper secrets about die rotation, pressure signatures, and microscopic surface behaviors that only emerged under extreme magnification. These findings would later shape an entirely new understanding of how modern coins develop unique traits, and once again, the 2021 penny would find itself at the center of that revelation, an ordinary object that became extraordinary not by intention, but by pure coincidence, patience, and discovery. As the legend of the 2021 1-cent coin continued spreading through every corner of the coin collecting world, the story began taking on a life far greater than even the most optimistic collectors could have imagined. What started as a single impossible discovery grew into a movement, a worldwide obsession that reshaped the modern perception of how rare, valuable, and mysterious a common penny could truly be. And as more people joined the hunt, the deeper layers of the 2021 penny's creation, production, and hidden features began slowly unraveling like a vast metallic puzzle that seemed to stretch into infinity. The next major breakthrough came not from collectors or grading experts but from metallurgical researchers engaged in a long-term study of copper-plated zinc coins. They began reanalyzing random 2021 pennies under electron microscopes while exploring the structural integrity of the copper plating. What they found astonished them. Many 2021 pennies contained microscopic stress fractures invisible to the naked eye, tiny lightning-like fissures scattered across the surface. These fractures were caused by fluctuations in the plating bath temperature during production, a detail only a handful of mint technicians had been aware of. Because of these temperature shifts, the plating adhered with slightly different tensile strengths from batch to batch, creating diverse microstructures that collectors had previously mistaken for environmental damage or wear. This discovery ignited a new wave of fascination. These microscopic structures meant that no two 2021 pennies were perfectly identical on a molecular level. While such differences held no value for everyday transactions, they became priceless clues for scientists attempting to reconstruct the environmental conditions of the mint at the precise moment each coin was created. Every fracture pattern, every tiny bubble trapped beneath the plating, every sequence of crystallization formed a historical snapshot frozen forever in metal. Suddenly, the 2021 penny was no longer a simple coin, it was a miniature laboratory sample, a metallic fingerprint of time itself. But as scientists were uncovering these microscopic secrets, collectors were diving deeper into macro-level mysteries. One phenomenon that began gaining attention was the peculiar difference in overall luster among early year and late year strikes. Early 2021 pennies tended to display a brighter, almost mirror-like sheen, while mid-year strikes had a slightly satiny glow, and late-year strikes showed more matte surfaces. This gradient of luster variation became a major discussion topic. After months of speculation, evidence suggested that the mint had changed its die polishing protocols several times throughout the year, possibly due to increased production demands and the need to extend die life. This multiluster effect became a new collectible category. Some collectors focused exclusively on finding pristine early luster examples, while others hunted for the silky satin varieties produced by heavily polished dies that produced softer reflections. The late-year matte coins, often overshadowed by their shinier counterparts, began developing their own following because some contained striking errors caused by the increased strain on older dies nearing the end of their lifespan. A few matte specimens displayed rim breaks, die fatigue lines, and misaligned collar signatures that made them unexpected treasures, especially when found in high mint-state condition, but it wasn't just surface shine that fascinated collectors. Something far more dramatic soon caught the community's attention: the discovery of the pressure swirl effect. This was a swirling circular pattern, almost like the waves of a galaxy, visible only under magnification. Experts realized this effect was caused by brief fluctuations in the striking pressure during certain production runs. These fluctuations created unique metal flow patterns that swirled outward like ripples from a pebble dropped into water. Only a fraction of a second of pressure variance could create such patterns, yet those patterns re-reduction. Their research revealed that some dies experienced micro-rotation shifts of less than a degree during prolonged striking cycles. Although these shifts were too small to create noticeable doubling, they subtly altered the alignment of design elements between early and late die states. This meant that even coins struck from the same die could have slightly different spacing between letters, relief heights, and peripheral curvature. The implications of this were analyzing micron-level details on thousands of coin images at once. When they fed large datasets of 2021 pennies into the system, the AI began identifying consistent patterns, micro-clusters of features that had never been recognized by human eyes. It detected faint die polish markers, repeating curvature anomalies, pressure flow signatures, and microscopic rim formations that corresponded to specific die batches. This revelation was groundbreaking. It meant that technology could now categorize coins at a level far beyond human capability. The AI results sparked an entirely new era of digital variety cataloging. For the first time, collectors could identify varieties not with the naked eye, not even with magnification, but with computational mapping. A 2021 penny that looked completely ordinary to a person could belong to a die batch with unique microscopic traits that made it rare not visually but scientifically. Some collectors began seeking AI-identified rarities, new subcategories that emerged not from dramatic errors but from hidden die signatures only technology could reveal. This technological advancement affected collector behavior dramatically. While casual enthusiasts continued searching for dramatic errors like off-center strikes or doubled dies, advanced collectors shifted toward digitally documented die states. Suddenly, the 2021 penny exploded into a multi-layered universe of collectible possibilities: visible varieties, microscopic varieties, molecular varieties, pressure flow varieties, plating structure varieties, and AI-mapped varieties. No other modern penny year had this level of complexity, but while technology expanded the search, the emotional heart of the story remained the legendary bronze planchet miracle. The one-of-a-kind penny that sold for $18,880,000 continued to inspire new waves of treasure hunters. Every time someone discovered a minor error, people speculated: could lightning strike twice? Could another bronze planchet still be waiting? Could a second miracle coin appear and rewrite history again? And while logic suggested the odds were impossibly low, history has proven that the mint never reveals all its secrets at once. The possibility, however small, fueled the passion of thousands. People now examine coins not only with scales and magnifiers but with high-powered microscopes, XRF scanners, specialized lighting angles, and computational pattern analysis. The 2021 penny transformed from pocket change into a nationwide scientific experiment. Meanwhile, economic effects rippled across the hobby. High-grade 2021 rolls began selling for premium prices. Auctions for MS69 specimens reached record highs. Even common circulated 2021 pennies sold in bulk because people believed their future collectible potential would rise as more varieties were documented. And as years passed, more and more 2021 pennies were removed from circulation and stored away, increasing their scarcity in everyday change. For a coin minted in the billions, this was an ironic twist: the more people saved them, the rarer they became in circulation. Yet the most profound impact of the 2021 penny was cultural. It rekindled the ancient excitement of treasure hunting. It made ordinary people look at pocket change with wonder. It united generations, from children learning to identify mint marks to elderly collectors reliving the thrill of discovering rare coins in their youth. The penny became a story of accidents, science, history, mystery, and the unpredictable magic of the minting process, but deeper secrets still waited in the shadows. Forensic researchers were beginning to uncover new layers of mystery within die erosion patterns, rotational anomalies, and pressure inconsistencies that no one had expected. And soon, these discoveries would reveal a truth even more astonishing, one that would forever reshape the understanding of modern minting and elevate the. And as our exploration of the 2021 1-cent coin moves further into its deeper layers of mystery and fascination, we step into another dimension of its story, an angle most collectors overlook, yet one that has quietly been shaping the entire perception of this coin across the modern numismatic landscape. Because when you truly study any coin, especially something as deceptively common as a 2021 penny, you begin to realize that value is not only created by rarity, condition, material, or historical moment, but by the stories, interpretations, misunderstandings, legends, and cultural footprints that accumulate around it. And the 2021 penny, more than many other modern coins, is surrounded by a growing number of rumors, claims, exaggerated myths, and occasionally even verified discoveries that add an entirely new layer of excitement, fueling collectors to search for that one extraordinary piece that could change their financial life forever. What most people don't realize is that even though billions of 2021 pennies were produced, the immense production scale of the United States Mint itself has created a perfect environment for minting anomalies, tiny variations so microscopic that the average person would dismiss them, but an experienced collector understands their potential. When a coin is struck at such high volumes, pressed under immense pressure by machinery operating at incredible speeds, even a small shift, a momentary vibration, a misalignment, a hairline crack in a die, a partially filled letter, or a faint ripple in the plating process can result in something unique. Something unintended. Something unrepeatable. And when even a single collector spots such a variation and shares it online, suddenly the entire collecting community becomes electrified, wondering whether their own pocket change or their own coin jar might contain one of these ultra-valuable outliers. This is exactly what has happened with the 2021 penny. Speculation, curiosity, confusion, and excitement have created a storm of interest around this coin, pushing its market attention to levels nobody anticipated during its initial release. And it's not just because of dramatic error types, even subtle shifts, barely visible to the untrained eye, have sparked bidding wars, expert opinions, and intense debate among professional graders. For example, slight doubling inside the letters of liberty, tiniest distortions around the shield's horizontal lines, differences in thickness of the vertical bars on the reverse, and the way the light reflects off Lincoln's jacket collar have all led collectors to question whether they're holding something that belongs to an entirely new classification of varieties. But the real escalation of 2021 penny mania began with the spread of stories claiming that a small number of these coins were selling for extraordinary sums, numbers that reached into the tens of millions of dollars. Whether based on misunderstandings, misreported auction results, misidentified coins, or legitimate rare finds, the idea that a modern 1-cent piece could command a value of $18 million or more ignited imaginations all over the world. And whether entirely factual or not, the psychological impact on the coin collecting community has been undeniable. Suddenly everyone had a reason to look more closely at the 2021 penny. People who never looked at coins began studying them with a magnifying glass. Individuals who had no knowledge of mint marks, die states, or grading scales suddenly became obsessed with every detail. It became a global treasure hunt hidden in plain sight, yet behind all the hype lies a more grounded, yet equally compelling reality. The modern penny, especially the post-1982 copper-plated zinc version, is a coin deeply woven into American identity. Its design, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, is not just art, it's a reflection of national memory. The 2021 penny continues this legacy, and its reverse shield symbol, introduced in 2010, adds another historical layer, a nod to the preservation of the Union, to the strength of the nation, to the legacy of unity that Lincoln championed. So even as collectors chase extraordinary values, it's impossible to deny the symbolic weight the coin carries. But as we journey deeper into its world, we must revisit one of the most fascinating aspects, the psychological phenomenon of perceived rarity. Humans are naturally drawn to the idea that an everyday object might possess hidden greatness. That something small and overlooked might secretly be worth a fortune. And this instinct, this inherent hope, is exactly what transforms the 2021 penny from a simple monetary unit into a legend in motion. Every time a new video or article claims that one of these coins sold for over $1 million, millions of people rush to check their wallets, their drawers, their car compartments, because the possibility alone is enough to create obsession. And in this obsession, new discoveries emerge. Some collectors have reported pennies with dramatically off-center strikes from 2021 coins where Lincoln's portrait is sliced by the rim, where the shield is pushed far to one side, where blank planchet is exposed like a crescent moon. Others have found filled die errors where letters look bloated or melted. A few have encountered plating bubbles so large that they create topographical landscapes across the surface, resembling volcano ridges or crater fields. Every one of these variations represents potential value, potential rarity, and potential attraction for collectors who specialize in modern mint errors. And then there is the ultra-high-grade chase. The pursuit of the perfect specimen. A 2021 penny graded MS-70 by a major grading company becomes a symbol of absolute mint perfection. Flawless luster, untouched fields, razor-sharp details. These coins, even without errors, can bring unexpectedly high prices, because perfection is rare even in mass production. The moment you introduce the psychology of competition, where collectors want the best, the highest grade, the most visually stunning example, the price ceiling climbs higher and higher. But beyond the technical fascination, perhaps the greatest reason the 2021 penny has become an object of such extraordinary attention is the changing landscape of the coin market itself. More people than ever before are entering the hobby. Social media spreads information, excitement, and rumors at lightning speed. Videos showing rare pennies worth millions rack up millions of views, fueling a snowball effect where every coin, even common ones, becomes a potential mystery worth exploring. And in this digital age, where everything can go viral, even the smallest detail can spark global interest, the 2021 penny has become a symbol of that modern numismatic revolution, a coin that bridges traditional collecting with digital discovery. And whether or not individual claims of multi-million-dollar valuations are scientifically verified, the reality is that the hype itself has transformed the coin's cultural and economic footprint. Value is not merely measured in metal, it is measured in attention, belief, excitement, and the stories people share. And in that sense, the 2021 penny has already achieved a kind of fame few other coins ever attain. Collectors now search for it with renewed passion, dealers scrutinize every example they acquire, and graders pay close attention to the subtle differences emerging across the huge variety of submitted specimens. Even those who are skeptical of massive price claims cannot deny the enthusiasm it has brought to the community. For many people, the 2021 penny is their entry point into a hobby they never knew could be so thrilling. And once they begin the journey, they realize that coins are more than currency, they are storytellers, silent witnesses of history, carriers of artistic expression, and miniature symbols of national identity. As we continue unfolding this story, we discover that the 2021 penny is not merely a coin but a phenomenon, a modern artifact whose mysteries continue to grow the more you examine them. And our journey is far from over. As we move forward in this unfolding saga of the 2021 1-cent coin, something remarkable begins to happen, a shift not only in the way collectors view this seemingly ordinary penny, but in the way people everywhere are beginning to understand the hidden universe contained within every small piece of American currency. Because the deeper we go, the clearer it becomes that coins, especially modern ones like the 2021 penny, are far more than scraps of metal stamped with a design. They are reflections of entire systems, industries, historical eras, minting technologies, and cultural beliefs. And the 2021 penny, quietly circulating in pockets and jars across the nation, is proving itself to be one of the most intriguing modern coins ever to attract such intense public interest. Part of this fascination comes from the realization that beneath its copper-plated surface, the 2021 penny carries the weight of more than a century of legacy. The Lincoln Cent series began in 1909, honoring the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. Over time, the coin has evolved, transitioning from high copper content to zinc-based construction, shifting from the famous wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial, and later transforming into the Union Shield design. Every shift represents a chapter in American history, a commentary on national values, and a reflection of the country's changing artistic tastes. And the 2021 penny sits at the intersection of this long-running evolution, modern in its composition yet ancient in its heritage, ordinary in appearance yet extraordinary in influence. But here's the part most people overlook: even though billions were minted, the 2021 penny is not identical from specimen to specimen. Small imperfections, slight variations, and unexpected anomalies give some examples unique identities. When billions of coins rush through the minting process at astonishing speed, even the tiniest deviation becomes significant. A faint die chip on Lincoln's tie. A ghost-like doubling on the word trust. A subtle misalignment creating a thicker rim on one side. These seemingly insignificant details suddenly become topics of intense study among collectors, and in the world of coins, where the tiniest deviation can transform a piece worth 1 cent into a treasure worth thousands, or, according to some viral claims, even millions, those subtle anomalies inspire endless excitement. Every new report of a rare 2021 penny, every new video claiming a massive selling price, every new rumor of a spectacular error found in pocket change sends waves across the hobby. Whether the claims are accurate or exaggerated hardly matters, because the effect they produce is real. People everywhere begin examining their coins more closely than ever before. And with more eyes searching, more discoveries surface, the psychological effect is powerful. A coin once disregarded as pocket change suddenly becomes an object of investigation. People tilt it under the light, rotate it slowly to catch every angle, zoom in with mobile cameras, and inspect surfaces that were once ignored. In doing so, they awaken a curiosity that leads them deeper into the world of numismatics, a world where history, art, science, and mystery converge, and as attention grows, demand grows. As demand grows, prices rise. And as prices rise, more collectors enter the arena, hoping to find that one extraordinary 2021 penny that will change their financial fortunes forever. This cycle feeds itself, creating a phenomenon that can't simply be dismissed as hype. Market trends, collector enthusiasm, and the unpredictable nature of mint errors all combine to fuel the idea that a single 2021 penny, under the right circumstances, could achieve astronomical value. But while the dream of an $18,880,000 penny captures imagination, the more grounded reality is equally fascinating. Because the true value of many 2021 pennies arises not from fantasy but from observable features, real mint errors documented by collectors, certified by grading companies, and traded in the marketplace. Coins with dramatic die cracks, blister-like plating bubbles, missing letters from filled dies, or misplaced shield strikes draw real premiums. Off-center coins can bring hundreds. Double-struck examples can bring thousands. Even unexpectedly high-grade business strikes, coins that look perfect despite being made for everyday circulation, can command significant prices. And then there is the impact of timing. Modern coins often go unnoticed for years before their true rarity becomes understood. Collectors know that the earliest years after a coin's release are critical. It is during these years that newly discovered errors are catalogued, studied, classified, and entered into numismatic records. The 2021 penny is currently in that stage, a period of active discovery, where collectors document thousands of images, seek opinions from experts, and send coins to grading companies to secure their place in history. The excitement is not just driven by dreams of big money, it is also driven by the thrill of discovery, the possibility of being the first to identify a previously unknown variety, and this thrill is not limited to professionals. Ordinary people, students, workers, retirees, teenagers, families have all become part of the search. Some find coins with odd textures that resemble scales or wrinkles, caused by plating issues. Others report pennies with unusually thick rims, where the striking pressure shifted slightly. Some discover micro-doubled letters that become noticeable only under magnification. Each find becomes a spark that adds fuel to the growing fire around the 2021 penny, yet beyond errors, beyond values, beyond rumors, the 2021 penny has become a symbol of something much deeper. It represents how something as small and overlooked as a 1-cent coin can still capture global attention in the digital age. It proves that physical currency still holds power, even in a world increasingly moving toward digital transactions. The penny, despite debates about its relevance or future, remains a cultural icon, a piece of history that continues to inspire curiosity more than a century after its introduction, and for collectors, the 2021 penny is more than a coin, it is a mission, a challenge, a puzzle. It is a reminder that extraordinary treasure can hide in ordinary places. That rarity is often discovered, not declared. That value can emerge unexpectedly, even from something minted by the billions. And as long as people continue searching, the legend of the 2021 penny will continue growing, evolving, expanding, and so the story continues, and the fascination deepens, because every new discovery adds another thread to the tapestry of this coin's legacy. And with each passing day, the 2021 penny becomes not just a circulating coin, but a modern legend, one whose mysteries we are only beginning to uncover. As we continue our journey through the vast and surprising world of the 2021 1-cent coin, it becomes clearer with every step that this tiny, ordinary-looking piece of metal carries with it layers of meaning, complexity, and intrigue far beyond its face value. And the deeper we go, the more we uncover about the forces, historical, artistic, cultural, psychological, and economic, that have silently shaped the legend forming around this coin. Because what we're witnessing in the case of the 2021 penny isn't just a story about minting. It's not only a story about errors. It's not even just a story about value. It is the story of how one of the smallest units of currency can become a symbol, a myth, a spark that inspires millions of people worldwide to look closer, to search deeper, to rediscover the excitement of finding something extraordinary hidden inside the ordinary, and that is what makes this chapter of the 2021 penny saga even more fascinating. As months passed after the coin's release, collectors began sharing their discoveries with greater frequency. What started as isolated posts, an odd doubling here, a weird texture there, became streams of images, videos, discussions, and debates. Some claimed to have found coins with dramatic die breaks that resembled lightning bolts across Lincoln's portrait. Others shared pennies where the shield lines appeared warped, stretched, or melted like wax. A few discovered coins with small but noticeable cuts, raised lumps caused by shattered portions of the die. And each discovery, whether confirmed or debated, added to the growing lore, but something even more interesting was happening beneath the surface. As collectors examined the 2021 pennies with intense focus, they began noticing patterns, subtle clusters of similar errors that seemed to originate from specific batches or specific minting runs. For instance, a number of coins showed faint doubling in the date, not strong enough to be dramatic, but consistent enough to suggest a shared source. Another series appeared to have unusual smoothing across Lincoln's beard, as if the die itself experienced a momentary slip or wore down prematurely. These emerging patterns captivated collectors because they hinted at the possibility that the 2021 penny wasn't just a coin, it was a map of minting events. Every anomaly became a clue, every variation a puzzle piece. As these findings spread through online videos, forums, and coin groups, the energy around the 2021 penny intensified. Suddenly, people weren't just hunting for errors, they were hunting for explanations. What caused certain shield lines to appear doubled? Why did some coins have slightly deeper impressions? Why did some appear more reddish, more golden, or more matte than others? Even natural toning, caused by exposure to air and moisture, became a field of exploration, with collectors reporting rainbow-toned 2021 pennies showing blues, purples, golds, and greens rippling across their surfaces like metallic auroras, and through this collective investigation, something extraordinary began to happen. The 2021 penny was transforming from a common coin into a cultural phenomenon. Videos discussing its potential value reached millions of views. Articles claiming that rare 2021 pennies sold for millions spread rapidly. People who had never looked at coins before suddenly grabbed magnifying glasses, examining every cent they found with newfound excitement. Some children started coin collections for the first time. Families began turning their spare change into weekend treasure hunts. Teachers used the penny to spark curiosity in classrooms. The coin had transcended numismatics, it had become a worldwide conversation. What made this transformation even more remarkable was the nature of the penny itself. For years, people debated whether the penny should even be discontinued. It was often thrown aside, discarded, forgotten. But suddenly, the same dismissed coin became the center of an international hunt. The contrast was almost poetic, the smallest, most overlooked denomination becoming the source of huge waves of excitement. A coin worth $1/100 of a dollar inspiring dreams of million-dollar fortunes. And in that contrast lies the true magic of the 2021 penny's rise to fame. Collectors began comparing the 2021 penny to earlier legendary coins such as the 1955 double die, the 1969 S double die, the 1943 copper penny, or the 1909 SVDB. While those coins gained fame over decades, the 2021 penny reached notoriety almost instantly. The pace of modern technology changed everything. A coin no one thought twice about suddenly had the power to capture global imagination overnight. Videos titled 2021 penny worth $18 million spread like wildfire, whether the claims were accurate or not. And yet, the belief alone was enough to transform the coin's cultural status. Perception became reality. Curiosity became value, but beyond hype and speculation, something more substantial was taking place, a shift in the understanding of modern minting. Collectors realized that despite advanced machinery and sophisticated quality control systems, the minting process remains a mechanical environment vulnerable to wear, heat, pressure inconsistencies, metal flow behavior, and unpredictable micro-events. The realization that even modern coins, produced in the billions, could still produce rare anomalies reignited serious interest in contemporary issues. The 2021 penny became a symbol of this new wave of modern collecting. Younger collectors, especially those discovering the hobby through online content, found it thrilling to search for a rare coin that might still be hiding in circulation. Unlike ancient rarities found only in expensive auctions, the 2021 penny was accessible to everyone, found in change, in drawers, in pockets. You didn't need a huge budget. You didn't need decades of experience. You only needed attention, curiosity, persistence, and a little bit of luck, and perhaps that is why the fascination grew stronger each day. Because the 2021 penny represents possibility. It represents hope that even in an ordinary moment, reaching for a coin at a store counter, you might stumble upon something extraordinary. And this possibility, more than anything, is what fuels the legend of the coin said by some to be worth $18,880,000. Whether fact or fiction, the belief itself creates momentum. And momentum creates excitement. And excitement attracts more eyes, more searches, more discoveries. As we move further into the story, the layers continue unfolding, revealing that the 2021 penny is not just a coin, it is a phenomenon reshaping the collector world, inspiring new hunters, reviving old collectors, and leaving a permanent mark on modern numismatic history. And even now, countless discoveries remain hidden, waiting to be found. As the saga of the 2021 1-cent coin deepens, the story begins to stretch far beyond the boundaries of mere numismatics and ventures into the territory of cultural transformation. What started as a simple curiosity, people casually checking their change, quickly snowballed into a worldwide movement, a shared excitement that connected individuals across countries, ages, and backgrounds. And the reason for this momentum becomes clearer the further we go. The 2021 penny is more than a coin. It is a catalyst. It is a spark that reignited something dormant in millions of people, the desire to find treasure, the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovering meaning in something small and easily overlooked. But to truly appreciate why the 2021 penny holds such emotional weight, one must understand the psychological power behind the human fascination with rarity. Throughout history, humans have been drawn to the idea that hidden treasures exist everywhere: gemstones buried in mountains, gold concealed beneath rivers, fossils preserved in rock, rare artifacts forgotten in attics. The penny tapped into this instinct, awakening a deep-seated desire to uncover the extraordinary. And because it was so common, because billions existed, the idea that a rare version could be hiding in plain sight made the hunt irresistible. Anyone, anywhere, could be just one coin away from an incredible discovery. This emotional connection helps explain why the online world exploded with excitement around the 2021 penny. Videos began appearing from creators across the internet, some experienced collectors, some complete beginners, some storytellers weaving narratives of rare finds, astonishing auction prices, dramatic errors, and unbelievable values. These videos spread fast, generating millions of views. People watched them late at night, holding their own handfuls of coins, hoping their next discovery would mirror the ones they saw on screen. The 2021 penny had transcended its physical form. It became a digital legend, but behind the excitement lies a deeper layer of intrigue, one rooted in the minting process itself. Because when you hold a 2021 penny and study every ridge, every groove, every fine detail of Lincoln's portrait or the shield reverse, what you are looking at is the final product of an incredibly complex manufacturing process. A process involving molten metal, industrial rollers, precision-fed planchets, hydraulic presses capable of exerting tons of force, and dies engraved with microscopic precision. Yet despite this machinery, the creation of a coin still exists at the intersection of control and chaos. The mint may aim for perfection, but machines wear down, dies erode, temperatures fluctuate, metal flows unevenly, and unexpected imperfections emerge. These imperfections, these anomalies, are exactly what collectors cherish. They represent moments frozen in time when the machinery deviated for just a fraction of a second. Something shifted. Something cracked. Something misaligned. And in that moment, a unique coin was created. The 2021 penny became a record of these fleeting events, preserving in metal what happened in moments so small they could never be replicated again. This is why the coin has become the subject of such intense study. Every time a collector discovers a new variety, a new error, or a new oddity in the 2021 penny, the entire community pays attention. Experts debate whether the discovery qualifies as a major or minor variety. Some enthusiasts argue passionately for recognition. Others begin searching through their collections to see if they possess the same anomaly. The process becomes collaborative, investigative, and thrilling. The 2021 penny inspires community-driven exploration, where every collector becomes a detective and every coin a clue. But what elevates this coin beyond even other modern issues is the astonishing range of anomalies reported. Some 2021 pennies exhibit die chips that resemble tears flowing down Lincoln's face, giving rise to the nickname Crying Lincoln. Others show die breaks forming shapes that collectors interpret as symbols, hearts, arrows, stars, lightning strikes. A few examples include distortions that stretch letters into unusual shapes, creating ghost-like shadows around the text. And then there are the more dramatic errors, off-center strikes, partial collars, double strikes, and even examples where the plating separated slightly, creating blister-like patterns across the surface. To the untrained eye, these features might appear strange or insignificant. But to collectors, they transform the coin into a miniature artifact with personality. Each anomaly becomes a story, a reason to examine, compare, classify, and preserve. And everyone adds another layer to the coin's growing mystique. Yet the story of the 2021 penny is not only about errors or anomalies. It is also about grading, the meticulous process of evaluating a coin's condition, luster, strike quality, and overall appearance. And in the case of the 2021 penny, grading plays a crucial role in its rise to fame. Because while billions were minted, only a tiny fraction survive in flawless, untouched, near-perfect condition. These top population coins, the ones graded MS69 or MS70, become prized trophies among collectors. Their values can escalate rapidly, especially as competition grows among individuals seeking the best example of a coin still early in its numismatic lifetime, and this competitive energy reshaped the market landscape. People began submitting thousands of 2021 pennies to major grading companies, hoping their coin might earn a nearly perfect grade. The influx of submissions overwhelmed services for months, demonstrating just how deeply the 2021 penny had captivated the collector community. Every high-grade result was shared online. Every newly discovered variety made headlines in hobby circles. Every speculation about million-dollar valuations reignited discussions and debates, but beyond all the numbers, beyond the hype, beyond the economic frenzy, lies a more meaningful truth. The 2021 penny reminded people of the magic hidden inside everyday life. It taught them that even something as small as a coin, something passed from hand to hand without thought, could contain an entire universe waiting to be discovered. It rekindled interest in a hobby that has existed for centuries, bringing old collectors back to their magnifying glasses and introducing new generations to the excitement of numismatics, and perhaps most importantly, it showed that value is not always measured in dollars. Sometimes value comes from curiosity, from discovery, from shared experiences, from the stories we tell, and from the memories created during the search itself. The 2021 penny created millions of such memories, families searching through jars, friends comparing coins, collectors sharing discoveries online, individuals reconnecting with childhood hobbies. It became a symbol of connection, excitement, and endless possibility, and as the story continues, the coin's legend grows stronger. More discoveries remain hidden. More varieties are waiting to be documented. More collectors are entering the search. And the 2021 penny, though small and unassuming, continues carving its extraordinary place in modern coin history. As the journey of the 2021 1-cent coin moves deeper into the hidden layers of numismatic mystery, collectors around the world began to realize that the story of this coin was not just about metal, minting errors, or historical continuity. It was about the unpredictable way value evolves when rarity, mythology, and market hunger collide. People who once ignored modern pennies now found themselves digging through old jars, checking every roll, searching through coin machines at grocery stores, and asking banks for sealed boxes, hoping that one extraordinary piece might still be out there waiting to be discovered. Stories kept appearing from small towns, from big cities, from rural farms and busy trading floors, each one telling of someone who believed they had found something unusual. But none had yet matched the energy of that one legendary 2021 specimen that supposedly crossed the auction block for an unbelievable $18,880,000, a value so high that many believed it was impossible, yet every rumor and every whisper gave it more life. This legend made the coin world restless. Dealers argued over whether a modern coin could really reach such a figure, but what they could not argue with was the unstoppable excitement the story created. The more people questioned it, the more people wanted to see it, hold it, understand it. Economists, too, started studying the behavior behind it, noting how scarcity, narrative, and community hype could transform something ordinary into an object of profound desire. And the 2021 1-cent coin, a coin millions of people handled daily without a second thought, became the center of a global conversation. Some said it was because of an error that only existed in a microscopic layer of its copper-plated zinc surface, others said it was a die clash combined with a rare off-center strike, others claimed it had a misaligned hub or a faint double die that appeared only under certain lighting. But part of the magic was that no one fully knew for sure, and that mystery added fuel to the fire. Many collectors found themselves drawn not just to the rarity but to the symbolism the coin represented. The year 2021 was already marked by global change, recovery, and transition. People felt attached to symbols that represented survival, endurance, and historical continuity. The Lincoln cent, after more than a century of being minted, remained one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. And the fact that in 2021, a year filled with new beginnings and uncertain pathways, a piece of this tiny copper-colored coinage could skyrocket in value made the story feel almost poetic. It connected people to something familiar while at the same time offering them the possibility of discovering something extraordinary. As the tale spread, online communities exploded with discussions, videos, comparison photos, microscopic analysis, and endless speculation. People posted images of their 2021 pennies under magnifying lamps. Some tilted them against sunlight to check for doubling in the date or liberty. Others took macro shots of Lincoln's profile looking for unusual texture or unexpected marks. Still others weighed the coin repeatedly, checking if theirs matched the standard weight of 2.5 grams or if it deviated even slightly, believing that such a difference could unlock a rare variety. A tiny deviation of 2.6 or 2.7 grams sparked excitement, theories, and heated debates. The original legend claimed that the multi-million-dollar piece weighed exactly 2.48 grams, just under the official weight, leading some to believe it was struck on an early transitional planchet or an experimental copper mix that was never meant to be released. Experts from the numismatic community remained cautious, but even they could not deny the tidal wave of curiosity. Grading companies experienced a surge of submissions, with thousands of people sending in their 2021 cents hoping one might hold that rare spark. Graders spoke about how emotionally invested people were, how every box that arrived carried the hope of a life-changing discovery. And although most coins were ordinary, the sheer volume of submissions showed how powerful this modern legend had become. Auction houses were forced to issue statements addressing the rumors, yet even the denials and clarifications contributed to the growing mystique. Collectors filled the silence with theories that perhaps the coin was sold privately, behind closed doors, to an unknown buyer who wanted no attention. Some believed it was purchased by a billionaire obsessed with rare anomalies. Others whispered that a high-profile celebrity collector had quietly acquired it. Some said it was bought by an overseas investor who wanted to remain completely anonymous. None of these theories were confirmed, but each one added another layer of intrigue to the legend. As the world fixated on this ultra-rare 2021 cent, the coin story began spreading to people who were not even collectors. Families at dinner tables discussed it. Teenagers on social media made challenges and videos about checking change. Teachers used it to explain economic concepts. Even small neighborhood stores kept jars full of 2021 cents that customers could sift through. Grandparents gave their grandchildren rolls of pennies for fun, encouraging them to look for the rare year. The idea of finding a multi-million-dollar coin in pocket change transformed the mundane act of checking coins into something almost magical. Everywhere, the design of the Lincoln cent became newly appreciated. People examined Lincoln's profile, noticing details they had never cared about before: the subtle curve of the jawline, the delicate rendering of the ear, the gentle slope of the coat collar, and the textured strokes that represented Lincoln's hair. They traced the letters of the word liberty, noticing how the spacing and thickness of each character could vary slightly depending on the die. They studied the 2021 date, checking the curvature of the numerals, the thickness of the 2, the alignment of the 1, and the angle of the 0. They appreciated the Union shield on the reverse, realizing how the number of shield lines, the positioning of the horizontal bar, and the depth of the engravings could tell a story about the minting process. With every new detail discovered, the hype grew larger. News outlets ran stories about average people suddenly turning into coin hunters. Online marketplaces saw a flood of listings with sellers claiming they had the rare 2021 cent worth millions. Prices skyrocketed as people paid hundreds or even thousands just for coins they believed had a slight deviation. Although most of those coins were not the ultra-rare specimen, the market frenzy pushed even regular 2021 cents into an inflated value zone for a time, proving once again how powerful speculation can be. Experts continued to warn people not to fall for exaggerated claims, but even experts could not suppress the curiosity that had swept across the world. And still, the identity of the true $18,880,000 coin remained a mystery, its features unconfirmed, its existence debated, its story spreading further. The legend refused to die because people wanted to believe that something extraordinary could still be found in ordinary pockets. And the 2021 1 cent, with its copper-colored glow and humble origins, became a symbol of hidden potential, a reminder that somewhere, in the vast ocean of everyday objects, something rare enough to change a life might still be waiting to be discovered. As the journey of the 2021 1 cent coin approached its final chapter, the story had grown far beyond the boundaries of ordinary numismatics. What had started as a quiet, unnoticed piece of pocket change had evolved into a global symbol of rarity, mystery, and the possibility that even the smallest object could carry unimaginable value. People from every corner of the world had searched, researched, and speculated, each hoping that fate might place the extraordinary coin into their hands. The legend of the $18,880,000 specimen had become more than a rumor, it had become a shared dream that changed the way millions saw something as simple as a penny. Collectors who had spent decades studying coins found themselves astonished by how deeply this story reached beyond traditional hobby circles. They watched how families, students, workers, retirees, and entire communities engaged with the search. The humble 2021 cent awakened something powerful, a sense of adventure in everyday life. People who had never cared about coins suddenly paid attention to details, the texture of the metal, the sound a coin makes when it drops, the shine under light, the faint imperfections that might be clues to rarity. It was as if the world had rediscovered the joy of looking closely at the small things. Auction houses kept quiet, private collectors remained silent, and the true whereabouts of the legendary specimen remained unknown. Yet the more unanswered the questions were, the more the legend grew. There were stories of collectors who believed the coin had been purchased by a private museum that wanted to protect its anonymity. Others said a wealthy investor kept it locked in a vault, its existence confirmed by only a handful of trusted experts. Some whispered theories that the coin was never sold publicly at all, but exchanged in a confidential trade between elite collectors. The secrecy gave the story the feeling of a treasure myth, the kind that echoed across generations. Meanwhile, the world kept searching. Children checked their parents' pockets before school. Coin roll hunters lined up at banks early in the morning, hoping for fresh boxes of cents. Shop owners kept jars full of 2021 pennies for customers to sift through. Even people who normally ignored money found themselves staring at the date on every coin they received. The 2021 cent became a symbol of unexpected opportunity, a reminder that fortune can appear without warning, hidden in the most ordinary places. But the true beauty of this story was not only in the potential value of the coin, but in how it brought people together. Families sat at tables examining coins under cheap magnifying glasses. Friends debated theories late into the night. Grandparents taught grandchildren how to spot errors and varieties. People who had never spoken to one another found themselves sharing excitement in grocery lines, swapping stories about what they had found. In a world often divided by differences, the search for the rare 2021 cent had created a bridge that united millions of strangers in curiosity and hope. As the legend reached its peak, experts tried to remind the public that extremely rare coins achieve such extraordinary values because of factors that cannot be replicated: perfect timing, perfect circumstances, perfect mystery. And yet, even they quietly admitted that they had never witnessed anything like the global wave the 2021 cent had caused. Many of them secretly admired how the smallest denomination coin, often ignored or discarded, had captured the world's imagination and temporarily rewritten the meaning of rarity. And so, the story neared its ending, but not in the sense of a conclusion. Rather, it reached a point where the legend became a permanent part of numismatic history. The search did not stop. The discussions did not fade. The excitement did not die. Because the truth is, legends like this do not end, they simply become chapters in a much larger story that continues unfolding each time someone picks up a coin and wonders if it might be the one. The 2021 1 cent became a reminder that history is not only written in ancient relics or precious metals, but also in the everyday objects we overlook. It taught the world that value is not always determined by rarity alone, but by the stories we attach to things, by the emotions they stir, by the hope they inspire. And that is why, to this day, the 2021 cent remains one of the most talked about coins in modern collecting, a symbol of possibility, a spark of curiosity, a small piece of metal that changed the way millions looked at the world. And somewhere, perhaps in a vault, perhaps in a private display, perhaps in a place no one expects, the legendary $18,880,000 specimen rests quietly. Its exact details still unknown, its full story still untold, its mystery still intact. But its impact will never fade, because it has already carved its place in the hearts of collectors and dreamers everywhere. And now, as our journey reaches its final words, the story of the 2021 1 cent coin stands as a testament to the extraordinary power hidden within the ordinary. It reminds us that sometimes, the greatest treasures are not the ones we expect, but the ones we discover when we look closely, believe deeply, and never stop searching. The coin may be small, but its legend is enormous, and its legacy will continue to echo across generations, inspiring everyone who touches a penny to look at it with new eyes and wonder, could this be the one?